Good evening. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Every combat veteran that I know carries with them a private roll call of names. Friends who didn't make it home. Brothers and sisters whose stories ended in a firefight, on a convoy, in an ambush, or in a moment when fate decided differently for them than for us. And what keeps so many veterans awake at night isn't just grief. It's the question that lingers long after the uniform came off. Did their sacrifice matter? It's not a small question. For many post-9/11 combat veterans, it's the hardest one of all. Because when the wars we fought ended the way that they did, and when most Americans simply moved on, making sense of that sacrifice sometimes feels impossible. At Warriors in Quiet Waters, we don't shy away from that question. Did their sacrifice matter? We lean into it. And what we've discovered is that the only answer, the only way to make our brothers and sisters' sacrifice matter is to live lives of purpose, to use the time we've been given, and to build a future worth the price they paid. That's what Make It Matter means for our veterans. And it's also what it means for us here tonight. When a combat veteran takes off their uniform, what they lose is not just a job. They lose an identity. They lose a mission. They lose a tribe that stood shoulder to shoulder with them through their best and worst moments of their life. And that loss cuts deep. And it leaves many veterans wondering how their future can ever mean as much as their past. Layer onto that survivor's guilt, the weight of brothers and sisters who didn't come home. Add the haunting moral injuries of decisions made in war. Then pile on watching the wars themselves end in ways that make veterans ask, did it count for anything? And that's the storm the post-9/11 combat veterans walk into after war. And it's not about weakness. It's not about being broken by trauma. It's about carrying too much weight alone in a society that largely moved on before the last body bags came home. This is where Warriors in Quiet Waters steps in. We spent years asking ourselves, how do we help combat veterans not just survive after service, but thrive? How do we help them move from loss to meaning, from isolation to community, from drifting to leading again? The answer became our Built for More program, a 9-month journey rooted in the science of human flourishing and forged in the fires of veterans' lived experience. In Built for More, we don't just talk about healing. We help veterans rebuild thriving lives based on these evidence-based pillars. Security, the strength to control how we respond to what life throws our way. Connection, a tribe that lifts us up and pushes us forward. Values, unshakable clarity on what we believe. Identity, rock-solid confidence in who we are. Potential, crystal clear vision of what we can accomplish. And purpose, that fire that drives us forward even when the road gets hard. And at the heart of that Built for More journey, we introduce one concept that captures it all. Make it matter. We got our veterans to understand that the best way to honor those who didn't make it out of the fight is to use the time we still have to fully serve again, live again, and lead again. We can make their sacrifice matter by building a life worthy of what they gave up. And we know Built for More accomplishes this. Our data proves it. Warriors who complete Built for More didn't just finish a program. They walk away with a compass for the future. They rediscover a sense of purpose that fills them with gratitude for each new day and the opportunity it brings to live, serve, and pursue what truly matters. They leave with practices and habits that anchor them, a new tribe that has their back no matter what, and the resilience to meet adversity with strength instead of despair. And these gains endure. Long after the program ends, veterans tell us they're not just surviving, they're leading again, serving again, and finding joy again. We see it with our own eyes. Veterans who arrive isolated and uncertain leave with the fire in their eyes, their shoulders squared, and a renewed conviction in their story. And that story isn't over. They stop asking, did this sacrifice matter? and start declaring, I will make it matter. But here's the truth that brings us together tonight. Make It Matter isn't just a call for veterans. It's a call for every single one of us in this room. Because whether you wore the uniform or not, you are living in the freedom bought by a warrior's sacrifice. The light shines briefly on our time. And the question that history asks each of us is the same. What will we do with the time we've been given? For our veterans, the answer is to serve in new ways again. For the rest of us, the answer is to make sure that they get that chance. That's our moral obligation. We owe it to them and to the brothers and sisters who didn't make it home to ensure that their lives after war are not defined by loss, but rather by their immense potential. And it's also our greatest opportunity, because when veterans thrive, communities thrive. When veterans live lives of purpose, America grows stronger. Their sacrifice becomes meaningful not just in memory, but in the future we build together. So tonight, the opportunity before us is clear: to make it matter through our generosity, through our commitment, through our decision to ensure that veterans who fought on our behalf get the chance to fight for a meaningful future of their own. Look around you. This is the best night in the Gallatin Valley. The food, the drink, the art, the energy, it's all incredible. But we're not here just to celebrate. We're here to act. We're here because over 1,500 veterans are on our wait list right now. Veterans from across the nation who have raised their hands, who are reaching for the tools to rebuild their lives, and are ready to take on the challenge of making it matter. We're here because the needs of post 9/11 combat veterans didn't end when America pulled out of Afghanistan. Those needs are enduring, and our support to them must be no less enduring. We're here because gratitude for their service is not enough. Words are not enough. Only action is enough. So tonight, I ask you to make it matter. Make it matter for the veterans who are here with us. Make it matter for those still waiting for their chance. Make it matter for the brothers and sisters who will never walk through these doors, but whose sacrifice demands that we carry their legacy forward. This is our moment. This is our opportunity to change lives forever. Together, we can unleash thriving veterans that make America stronger. Together, we can ensure that the sacrifices of our fallen are honored not just with monuments and memories, but with futures blazing with purpose. The auction paddles will rise in just a few minutes. The cash call will follow that. And in those moments, you get to decide, will you make it matter? I know you will, because that's who you are, and that's why we're here. So together tonight, let's make it matter. Thank you.